When a man hits 40 years old, this is the starting point to when he starts to become, in my opinion, dangerous. Because up until this point, in your 20s, you're a mess. Your 30s, you're still figuring things out, but if you've played your cards right and you've done some good things in terms of your habits, when you hit 40, that's when everything starts to change for the better. But there's some other things that when you hit 40, you've got to stop doing in terms of goals that you've been chasing basically your whole life. Today, guys, I want to go over a few goals that you need to stop chasing by the age of 40. One quick update. The new channel, Failing to Freedom, that I started with Antonio Centeno, we just crossed 500 subscribers. For those of you who have not yet subscribed to the new channel, I'm going to link to it down below. It's basically an incredible new YouTube channel that my best friend Antonio and I started. It's basically us sharing things and tips that we feel like we wish we knew when we were on our journey. And we have both overcome a bunch of adversities and struggles, and we talk a little bit about that. And the whole idea is just to help you gain insights and to avoid some of the pitfalls and struggles that we face throughout our entrepreneurial journey. And we just dropped our second episode. Every Wednesday, there is a new episode that is dropping, but it's a casual conversation between he and I really feel like it's a great channel. And for those of you who like a more down-to-earth, casual conversation and vibe like this, you will definitely love it. I'm going to link to it down below. Go sign up, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and also watch the first two episodes. The one we just dropped last Wednesday was all about timing. Is it too late for you? Depending on what you're wanting to do, the answer is yes, but it may surprise you at how much opportunity you still have left in front of you. And now, actually, I'm not going to spoil it. Go watch the video, drop us a like, and if you dig the content, please let us know, hey, we like this, keep it going, because we really feel like it's valuable information, and we both love doing it. And I love hanging out with Antonio, so it kind of, is a two-bird, one-stone scenario. I get to give value. I also get to hang out and have a conversation with one of my best friends on a weekly basis, and we would love for you to join us. Hit the link down below and subscribe. But now, I want to actually move because I don't like this background. Whatever, how about the couch? What do you think? Is that better? That's better. It feels more vibey. Anyway, number one, the first thing you need to stop doing by the age of 40 is trying to fucking please everybody. All right, chasing the constant validation is something that I did my entire life. And I think it really comes from me being insecure when I was younger and trying to prove to other people that I was as worthy and valuable as them because I grew up, pretty not wealthy. And by not wealthy, I was poor. And so because of that, it really made me insecure, and I think to this day, even today, I still feel like I try to prove something to the poor little insecure kid. And one of the things that was hard for me was this realization, number one, that I do this because it's not necessarily something that most people be like, yeah, I try to please everybody, or yeah, I try to seek validation from everybody. But I think that deep down, some of you do it. Deep down, I did it. And so when I realized that, my life is going to look different than other people's, and not comparing yourself to other people and trying to chase some arbitrary goal set by some arbitrary thing and trying to basically make sure that everybody likes me, when I finally was like, fuck it, I'm cool, I'm going to do me. This was when everything started to change because I finally dropped the act, which brings me to the second goal, and that is trying to be perfect and trying to be something that maybe you're not. And this, again, is not something that any of us probably realize that we're doing, but if you really sit back and think about why you do the things that you do, why you act the way that you act, why you are, doing certain things, a lot of times you realize that it's to satisfy or make somebody think that you're a way that you may not actually be. And I know that sounds weird, but for me, I think for a long time, I tried to put on this act and facade of yo, I'm super cool, or yo, I'm super this, when the reality is that once you get to be 40 and into your 40s, that's one of the other things that you're going to realize. And one of the reasons why I feel like your 40s are such a powerful decade is because you finally kind of get comfortable in your own skin. The only way you're going to do that truly, though, is by having some failures and realizing the world does not revolve around you. And when I say that, it's not that you're not important, but we spend so much time and energy worrying about what other people think of us when the truth is they're not thinking about you. They don't even care about you. And it's not to say that in a negative or mean way, but they're so consumed and busy worrying about their own shit, their own life, their own insecurities, making their own money to buy things that they really don't need, but they just want to buy in order to flex, which is something else we're going to talk about in a minute. It's liberating when you realize that these people aren't thinking about you. They're not worrying about you. And it allows you to basically start to conduct your business and your life in a way that's really true to you and who you are. And so for me, it was a very powerful thing to basically drop the shit, to fail, to realize people aren't judging me the way that I am judging myself. And I became a lot more comfortable in my own skin. And that is one of the most beautiful things that can happen to a man, is when you finally realize you are enough, you're awesome. You're not perfect, but that's okay. You're you, and you are amazing. That's something that is powerful. Number 3, stop buying shit just to chase some arbitrary ideal of success or trying to flex. Now, I got a lot of heat on the last video because I talked a little bit about things you shouldn't buy and don't waste your money on, and there were people calling me out. And I'm not saying that it wasn't justified. Some of you were calling me out because I was saying, hey, don't waste money as I'm walking through this monstrosity of a house that I built. I get it. Why did I build it? Because I wanted to. Was it part ego? I'm sure it was. Probably needed to spend some of the money I spent on limestone, on therapy, but I'm in therapy again, which is the good news. That is a true story. I decided I needed to talk to people or somebody. And so I signed up. I used my own link at BetterHelp. And I'm starting therapy just to kind of just think and talk through some things that I've been kind of, I guess, struggling a little bit with. But asking for help is also something that I feel is very, very powerful. And when you're in your 40s, that is something that gets easier, is asking for help or acknowledging when you may need help. But buying things that you don't need is something that I talked about on that video, all right? And I went over a long list of things, but something that people said that I actually was like, you know what, you're absolutely right. I'm not a car guy. And so when I say like, hey, don't buy stupid cars just to feed your ego, some people just love cars. Does it mean not to buy it? You only live once. The answer is no. Do what makes you happy. Do what you want to do. All right? But if you're buying a really nice car and you're not able to save, or you're not able to basically ever retire because of that, then that's something to consider, right? If you want to buy yourself a nice watch, buy a nice watch. I bought myself a few nice watches. All right, why? Because I wanted to. I built a nice house. Why? Was it the most financially secure and sound decision? No, fuck no, it was not. I could have probably made more money on the money if I had invested it or lit it on fire. But you do things sometimes because you want to. And if you want to do it, that's great. But if you are doing it just to try to make other people think that you're something or more successful or somebody that you're not, that, in my opinion, is something you should stop. Number 4 is stop sleeping with as many people you can just to feel like a stud. All right? By 40 years old, it's time to wake up. If you're still having these empty relationships, I would recommend you seriously have a look at where you want your life to go. Now, if that's something you just like doing and that's who you are, then fine. Acknowledge it though. But if you're somebody that is like, oh, I want to meet a nice girl, I want to settle down, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but you're still doing and behaving in a manner that is counter to attracting that type of person, you got to wake up, right? By 40 years old, you need to stop the empty relationships and really value and look for somebody that is going to basically be your partner for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I can tell you from experience that when I met my wife, I was in my 30s, everything changed. I stopped going out, I stopped chasing, and one of the other things that happened is because I knew that I had my spicy action at home, it allowed my brain to work on things and focus on things that were more powerful and productive, and I started being more successful because I wasn't out chasing the proverbial tail, as they say. The next thing I want you to stop chasing is the perfect body. A lot of young guys in today's world more than ever are chasing the ideal body through unhealthy means. You may be using some type of TRT or performance enhancing drug. This is bad. You should stop, because in your 40s, this is when things start to fall apart. All right. All the bad decisions you made through your diet, through your choices, through your lack of diet, through your lack of exercise, it starts to catch up with you in your 40s. 40s are when things start to break on your body. All right, but one of the things I don't want you to do is do unhealthy things just to try to look a certain way. Now, does this mean I'm saying not to exercise? Of course not. All right, in your 30s, you need to develop solid habits, a healthy diet, and a great solid workout routine that is something you do consistently on a weekly basis is a must. In your 40s, though, you now need to stop doing unhealthy things in order to obtain some body that you think that you need, when the reality is you just need to be the best that you can be and have the best body you can within reason. All right, it doesn't mean you shouldn't ever eat pizza, because life is too short to not eat pizza. The next thing you should stop chasing is social media fame. Now, let me clarify something. If social media is kind of like your thing, then okay, of course. But if you're somebody that is just starting to like get into it, I think it's dangerous. I know it's dangerous for me, all right? And what I mean by that is social media and making your living doing this, trying to get attention, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you mentally. It's not healthy for you physically. Honestly, there are a lot of downsides that come with it. I feel like the less time you spend on social media, the better and the happier you're going to be. But if you are somebody that is making it your lifestyle or your job, then just understand that it's a slippery slope. Can you make something from it? Possibly. But I just want you to be careful. And I know that sounds crazy coming from me, the guy that basically built a life online. I didn't know what I was getting into when I started. I started social media in 2008, a long time ago. It was a very different world back then. And, now to this day, like 18, 19 years later, I just think about how much it's changed. And if I had to do it over again, or if I was starting from zero today, would I choose this as my career? The answer is no. I would choose something else, because this comes with a lot of issues. I've had a lot of, issues emotionally and mentally, just because, there's a lot of pressure and you beat yourself up a lot. And then there's also the aspect of, people's commenting and being mean. And even though I've been doing it a long time and I know better than to let some of the negative comments affect me, they still affect me. And so I haven't been able to develop skin thick enough. I still will read comments and I'm like, that kind of sucks. And it's not very nice. One of the other things, though, is that people, I feel, have changed a lot. And it's a lot easier now to be anonymous and leave shitty comments and be mean or hurtful towards people, because we feel like it's the internet, when the reality is there is somebody real behind that comment or reading that comment. And I still feel like people should do a better job being better people. But that's another video for another time. And the last goal I want you to stop chasing by the age of 40 is trying to please your parents, your family, or anybody other than yourself. And this one is tricky, because a lot of us basically wake up one day in our 40s. A lot of times we're like, where, how, what did I do? Why am I here? It's time for you to be honest with yourself. I truly feel like the reason why guys have midlife crisis, or anybody has a midlife crisis, they're not honest with themselves and who they are long before they hit their 40s. And even though you may have found yourself or find yourself in a job or in a relationship or in a situation that isn't ideal, there's still time to change it, to correct it, or to move to a different course. Now, if this means you might have to have some hard conversations, you might have to have them. If it means you have to make some hard decisions and change your life in drastic ways, it may mean that. But in your 40s, honestly, this is the time for you to start being more selfish, because time is of the essence. Before I go, I just want to tell you where I was this past week. I'm also going to tell you another story, a stupid story. But if you're this far in the video, you probably don't mind. So yesterday actually was Thanksgiving. 2 days before, on Tuesday, I flew up to Philadelphia for a dear friend's father's funeral. He passed away. 3 months ago, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and 3 months later, I'm at his funeral. And so even though it wasn't the ideal time to fly up, it's never the ideal time to deal with something like that, but I wanted to be there for my friend, and I owed it to my my friend Ron, who passed away, he was actually the person that got me down here in Atlanta. And if you talk to him, he would have told you that he was responsible for everything in my life, because when I was getting ready to graduate college, I went to him and he and I were talking, and he's like, what do you want to do when you graduate? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, well, I'm dating a woman in Atlanta, and Atlanta is amazing. It was right after the Olympics. And he said, if you have a job or a business or a career, if you can't make it work in Atlanta, you can't make it work anywhere. And at the time, I wanted to own a fitness center. And so I thought, you know what? Let's go give it a try. I knew I didn't want to stay in Philadelphia. And so I moved to Atlanta, pretty much sight unseen. And to this day, up until the day he died, he would always say, I was the reason that Aaron moved to Atlanta. I'm the reason why, Aaron found his fame and fortune. And his son, one of my best friends, Terry, and Brian, were also part of Menfluential, the advertising agency. And so very, very close friends and family to me. And so I went up there on Tuesday night. The funeral was on Wednesday morning. And I did that. And it really helped kind of put things in perspective in terms of what's really important and what really should be the focus and the goal. And one of my goals for this coming year and my future is to spend more time with people that I love, because you never know when you're not going to have that time. And also tell the people that you love them today. Don't wait, because you never know when you might not have tomorrow. So anyway, let me tell you a funny story. All right, let me lighten the mood a little bit. So yesterday was Thanksgiving. All right, one of the things that I love to do on Thanksgiving is called the Gobble Jog. It's a 5K race in the heart of Marietta, the square that I live, or right near where I live, why I built my house in this horrible lot in this location and everything, because I can walk to the Gobble Jog in 2 minutes. So anyway, the Gobble Jog is a love-hate thing for me, because I love being out there amongst everybody. There's like 12 to 15,000 people that show up on the square and do this 5K. I love it, but I hate it. And the reason I hate it is because I get competitive. I get competitive with myself, and I try to beat my time from last year, but I also get competitive with my buddy Tony, who I run with every Sunday. Well, he wasn't there last year, and I ran a really good time. I ran like a 22-minute 5K. Now, I'm not a runner. Even though I do run like a lot during the week, I don't consider myself like a runner because I'm not fast. I'm a short, squat, little muscular Italian that like doesn't need to be running, right? Anyway, so he was going to be here this year. And so he's like, what was your time last year? I'm like, 22, like it was like 22:15. And he's like, I'm going to kick your ass. Now, I run with Tony every Sunday. We run 10 miles every Sunday. And Tony is tall. He's 6 feet tall. I'm short. I'm 5'6". And so just the other week, we had the debate about how much faster and harder I have to run just to cover the same distance as him. And so it's this whole thing, right? We're guys, and so we do stupid shit like this. And so we calculated with the help of ChatGPT that it takes me, or I have to exert 15% more energy to cover the same distance as Tony, because he's 6 feet tall and I'm 5'6". So anyway, he's telling me that he's going to kick my ass in this race. And even though at the time I'm like, I don't want to get hurt. I'm not going to run fast. I'm just going to go about it. I'm going to let him win, let him do his thing. You know how this ends. I'm competitive. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to let him think that he's going to win, right? And so the race goes, we start, we run, and he goes like a flash. And I'm like, I'm going to conserve my energy, because I know that if I can keep up with him enough, when they get to the uphill, because there's a big uphill, he sucks at uphills, I'm really good at like going up a hill. And so I'm like, if I can still see him by the time I get to the bottom of the hill, I can catch him. And then I can pass him. And so that's what happened. So we did the race. I let him go out. He was tearing it up. And then I saw him, and the uphill happened, and I passed him. And as I was passing him, I go, peace, I'm out of here. I took off. And then I got a cramp in my hamstring, but I still had to finish the race. I ended up beating Tony, but I hurt myself, and I was miserable all day yesterday, and I'm still in pain today. But the good news is I beat Tony's ass. My time, not as good as last year. It was 22:59. It was like a second under like 23 minutes. I beat him by 16 seconds. Who's your daddy? Exactly. Gentlemen, if you have a question down below, start it with a question and ask it. Each week, I try to get to some of your questions. Last week, I didn't have too many questions. I had a lot of people saying that I'm an idiot. I had a lot of people saying that I'm a liar. I'm a big house buying, building liar, that I wasted all my money on this monstrosity, which is true, but there weren't any questions. So if you have a business question down below, ask it. Say question and ask it. Next week, more of your questions. If you haven't subscribed to the Failing to Freedom YouTube channel, hit the link down below and do it. Antonio and I would love to see you there. Until next week, gentlemen, you're awesome.